Hey guys, and welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. Today we're talking about games, specifically the best games released on PC this year. Even though it's been a great year for releases on console with titles like Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda Breath of the Wild capturing everyone's attention and topping plenty of those Game of the Year lists, there's still been a number of excellent games hit the PC. For this list, we've compiled 5 great PC games released this year, and we'll be talking about them in no particular order. The games we chose are a mix of what we played and liked this year, along with what you guys nominated for the best game when we asked. And there's no better way to kick this list off than one of the biggest games, not just of the year, but of all times in terms of sales. The overwhelming viewer choice for best game when polled on Twitter was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and it's not hard to see why. PUBG is a fun, addictive battle royale game taking the world by storm, and until the last few weeks it was only available on PC. So far, more than 24 million copies have been sold, and the game is the most concurrently played on Steam just 9 months after it first hit early access. Yes, there is a bit of roughness in its presentation, and there are plenty of technical issues players deal with on a regular basis. We've benchmarked the game a few times, and even with version 1.0, its optimization leaves a bit to be desired on PC, but that doesn't stop the game from being a fun and heart-pounding challenge whether you're playing solo or in a team. It's actually pretty hard to describe what exact game mechanics make PUBG a blast, but the combination of last man standing 100-player battles with scavenging for weapons and a shrinking play area just has some magic qualities. And there are no microtransactions impacting gameplay, something that is surprisingly rare in 2017. Prey is the next game in this list, and it is underrated and unfortunately didn't seem that popular commercially, but it's one of my personal favorites and also turned up in many of your lists. The best aspect to Prey isn't its combat or its core story, which could have done with an extra bit of polish. Instead, it's the exploration that makes this game so successful. There are a ton of things to see and discover around the Talos 1, and while everything takes place inside this overrun space station, each area you unlock contains varied environments and new challenges. It keeps the game fresh and mostly prevents derivative encounters. The stealth aspects to Prey also worked well, especially the lack of weapon ammunition that leaves you scrambling for crafting components or creative solutions to defeat enemies. In fact, Prey encourages creativity, and a number of the weapons and alien abilities you can obtain allow you to execute brilliant and inventive strategies. Prey is definitely worth exploring, and now that it's often available on sale, there's not much to lose. Only actual Nazis don't love a game about shooting Nazis, and Wolfenstein II: The New Colossus is definitely a game about shooting Nazis. In fact, shooting Nazis is basically all you do in this game, and it's immensely satisfying. Developer Machine Games has managed to craft a game that makes a ridiculously overpowered character like BJ Blazkowicz fun throughout its entirety, especially as the story twists from one ludicrous encounter to another. Wolfenstein II, like previous games in the series, also includes a decent story, better than most single-player first-person shooters, and that could be because there's no multiplayer modes to speak of. The story certainly isn't some throwaway junk just to fuel the violence, which is exactly what you want to see from this sort of game. It also runs very well on PC and looks beautiful thanks to the id Tech 6 engine and Vulkan support. One role-playing game stands out from the crowd in 2017, and that's the PC exclusive Divinity Original Sin 2. It's not a game we've played a ton, but it's one that many of you said we must include in our best games list, and there's plenty of reasons for that. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a complex and incredibly deep RPG with a true role-playing focus, allowing you to develop a character and mold the story to your liking. You want to set aside at least 50 hours to complete this game too, if not 100 hours, because there's so much stuff to do. Quests galore, plenty of NPCs to interact with, and loads of explorable areas. The combat is technical and rewards expertise with all the game systems as well, which is a testament to the quality of the overall package. The game is being lauded as one of the best RPGs of all time, so if you're an RPG fan and hasn't played it, definitely chuck it in your backlog. Nier Automata is another game that comes highly recommended by you guys, and it's one of the most unusual releases of the year. It's a third-person open world role-playing game, but in some environments and sections it transforms into different perspectives and switches to different gameplay mechanics like platforming. These elements mix well together in contrast to its mediocre predecessor, while combat is strong and satisfying. As with all good RPGs, Nier Automata includes an engrossing story that covers a variety of themes. You'll even have to play the game multiple times to reveal the true endings, though each playthrough is slightly different and surprisingly satisfying to complete. Unfortunately, the PC port of the game was rather poor. Issues like, that 30 FPS locking cutscenes annoying some people, and there's been a few various crashes, although community patches have now resolved most of the pressing issues. Port issues aside though, Nier Automata is worth exploring, especially if you want something a little different from the norm. There were plenty of other games that were on the shortlist that are worth a mention too, just some honorable mentions, including the excellent and challenging Cuphead, the artistically brilliant Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, indie hit What Remains of Edith Finch. Some great racing games came out this year like Dirt 4 and Project Cars 2, and even Assassin's Creed Origins was great, which was a visually stunning game and a return to form for the series. Did we miss a game that you thought should have made the cut? I'm sure you'll let us know in the comments below. Also let us know what games you think were the most disappointing of 2017, because we'll be tackling those in another video very shortly. So I guess I'll definitely be catching you next time.